Right. So welcome to the image classification with Azure Custom Vision event. So let me share my screen as well. Yeah, Tamidu, what about my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, Upendra.
Thank you. Right. So again, guys, welcome to the event. And maybe some of you guys have like already joined the last event that we have conducted in introduction to cognitive services a couple of weeks ago, right? So for this event, actually, you guys can also consider like a continuation of that uh, same event. The reason is actually we are going to talk about Azure Custom Vision, something related to the cognitive services event that we have conducted before. So, mm, right. So actually, before we are going to talk about the Azure Custom Vision, let me show you actually like the ultimate goal of us to at the end of today's session. So what we are going to do is actually, I'm going to show you how to deal with the Azure portal and how to create a cognitive services and specifically the custom vision and create an like a small web application with the use of those the custom vision service that we have created. Right. So I have already created a small application just to demonstrate. So let me start it. Right. Yeah. So while the application is starting, actually, I'm going to assume that you guys already have some kind of like a already familiar with uh, the concept of cloud computing and Azure, right? So yeah, this is like the basic application that we are going to create in the today's session. But as you can see, I'm not actually focusing on the stylings and all of those stuff. So rather, I'm more concerning about the functionality of it, right? So what I'm going to do is actually I'm providing a small text area to search, provide a URL, and then we can search something here. So let me quickly show you it. We'll go to Wikipedia. I'm going to search Rolls Royce car. Right. Uh, so you can like paste the image URL in here, and once you search it with the usage of the Azure service that we're going to use, it will say what kind of like a probability we have of containing this image a Rolls Royce car. So specifically, I have already created the model for the Azure Custom Vision service, and I have trained it. So throughout the whole event, I'm going to show how to create the model, how to find a data set, and how to train it. And specifically, I will show you how to integrate this kind of application in any kind of like application that you are going to create. Uh, Actually, the reason that I'm saying is uh, since most of you guys are joining with us uh, from any kind of like a university or any kind of like a institute, I mean, it's obvious that you guys have to go through several assignments and several projects throughout the whole university life, right? So in those cases, these things are like really important and really helpful, and also at the same time really easy to understand or use in your application, which can add like an extra value for your project, right? And maybe most of the students are not familiar with these things as well, so you can get that advantage as well, right? So let me show my presentation. Right. Um, yeah, what is actually Azure's custom vision service? First of all, coming back from the last session that we have conducted based on the cognitive services, there are a set of like features they provide us, right? So among them, computer vision is one of them. And as you can see in this diagram also, it provides us several features like image classification, object detection, uh, the emotional detection, and so many things. In also like facial recognition um, services. So in today's session, we are going to specifically talk about the image classification part, but also we have the object detection as well. This is something actually similar to image classification, but I will show you when we start the demonstration how to go with the object detection as well, and what's the difference between image classification and object detection as well. Right. So Azure Custom Vision is like a image recognition services that let us build, deploy, and yeah, implement our own models, right? So I mean, when we talk about like building a model or training it, for an example, if you think about we are doing this using maybe Python or any kind of like a language, maybe involving with the concept like neural networks. This is somewhat like really time consuming and really complex to uh, code based on the application we are doing, right? But the advantage of using this kind of a cloud platform and services, we don't have to worry about the all of the code base systems and know how to code it or how to train a model, maybe writing hundreds of codes, lines of code, right? Uh, all we have to do is just to interact with some kind of like a some user-friendly interfaces, and then we can get the work done. Uh, yeah, that's like a small description about Azure Custom Vision. I mean, I'm not going to take much time explaining these theoretical parts because I'm going to uh, discuss these things in the demonstration part as well. So in that case, you can get the whole idea when we are doing the demonstration part. Right. So the advantages of using custom vision. Uh, I mean, most of these things are, I mean, we have already discussed these, right? We can train a model without code base. As I mentioned, we don't need to write so many lines in order to uh, predict or maybe use an algorithms in machine learning. So this actually basically the simplest idea is how to use machine learning concepts or machine learning services without coding or without having like expert or maybe knowledge about these things. All we need to know about how to call an endpoint in order to integrate these things in our application. So yeah, that's actually the second point, less experience and knowledge is required in machine learning. Yeah, other than that, these are like really easy to use and handle or interact with because Microsoft Azure providing so many like user-friendly interfaces, and there's nothing much to actually know. They are providing everything. We just need to know the which button that we have to click. That's easy as that. Um, yeah, using custom vision and creating a model and training it. There are some sort of like key steps in it. Uh, First one is the Azure resources for custom vision. This is why actually I mentioned, I think, I assume that you guys already have some kind of knowledge or I mean, or maybe familiar with the Azure portal in order to create a resource group. In this case also, there are a couple of ways that we can do, but yeah, I will explain these things when I start the demonstration. Then, of course, we need to find a data set. For today's application, I'm using a data set from Kaggle, having some images about cars actually. Since we are going to differentiate the car brands based on uh, the image that we're going to provide. Right. So then we have to train the model, and then there's another part for model evaluation as well. I mean, I will show you guys what are the key, additional steps that we have to follow in order to know about the evaluation training, as well as how to use this model or publish it and integrate in our system. Right. And I think I forgot to mention actually, I will put a link in the chat box in order to uh, provide your details for the certificates as well. So yeah, can go for the rest. Right. First of all, actually, you need to go for the Azure portal, and yeah, I mean, you need to have like a subscription. I'm using the the subscription for Azure students provided from the our institute, and yeah, this again, this like a very user-friendly interface that we can use in order to create those resources and use these things, right? So, like I mentioned in the presentation also, when we follow the key steps, first we need to create an Azure resource for the custom vision. There are a couple of ways we can do. There are a couple of ways that we can follow actually create a resource group for uh, create the service. So the first one is to create an Azure cognitive service group from here. You can go with the cognitive services multi-service account. Right? So all you have to do is create, and the other way is to go with the custom vision service as well, right? So that you can create the resource for the predictions as well as the training. But in this time, since like this like a general application and really small one, I'm going to go with the cognitive services multi-service account. Right? So then we can hit the create button, and there are some couple of like fields that we have to fill. First of all, it will ask about the subscription itself, and currently I am only having the Azure for student, so I'm using it. And in here you can specify a resource group for the service that we are going to create. So if you click the drop down button, it will show you what are the available resource groups, or else if you don't have any available resource groups, you can create new from here. Uh, yeah, I will use the available one for now. Um, and then it will ask for the region. You can keep it as it is, and then you have to provide a name for the instance actually. So you have to follow these rules as well. We'll say take demo. Assume, yeah, it's available. Right. So the next step is to choose the pricing tier. It's standard. So I mean, we don't have any options. We have to go with the standard. So, and then you have to check this button as well. Next, we need to go with the network tab, but for our application, we don't need to change any kind of like a configurations in these. So we can keep these things as it is in the identity and tags as well. So yeah, we can review and create it. Yeah, once the validation passed, you can press the create button, and it will start the the deployment process. Right. Right. So once it is actually deployed, you will be able to see the details in here. But yeah, it's still deployed. Right. It's successfully deployed. That's all actually we have to do in the what do you call it, the Azure portal. Right. Next up, we can go to the custom vision, the platform itself. Um, for that, you can just search Azure Custom Vision. Right. So in here, I mean, if you need any kind of like additional information or knowledge about these things, you can, of course, go with the official documentation and they will provide, I mean, all of the things. It's easy to understand from these official documentations. So just to, yeah, this is the custom vision portal itself. This is where actually the magic happens, where we need to create our project and train the model, providing all of the data sets. Right. So I have actually already created a model, but let me show you how to create one. So once you press the new project button, you can provide a name. I will go with the test for now, and this test description, and then we have to select the resource. So in here, it will show you like any kind of like a resources that you have created in the Azure portal itself, right? This is this one. So like go to the home, you will be able to find out like all of the resource that you have created. And as I mentioned, you can create like a cognitive service, multi-service account, or maybe like a resource from custom vision as well. So both of them will be shown in here, I guess. Yeah, yeah, it is here. I'm gonna go with the car brand demo. Next up, we have the project types actually. This is the thing I was talking about with you in the presentation slide. Yeah, the object detection and the image classification related to the Azure Custom Vision. So in this application, we are going to go for the image classification, but at the same time, you can go with the object detection as well. I mean, there's like a slight difference between these two. I mean, if you go with the classification method, we can like consider whole image as a uh, whole image representing a one object. But if you go with the object detection, this will be like a situation where the whole image containing different kind of objects. For an example, let's assume a image containing maybe a water bottle and a laptop, maybe a human, right? So we can detect different kind of objects in the image that we are going to provide. But since we are going to do classification, we are going to detect one object that we are going to specifically say from the whole image, right? Then we have the classification types. We have multi-label and multi-class. It is somewhat like similar to the types that we have already discussed. We can have multiple tags for an one image. Also, if we go with the multi-class, we can have only have like a single tag for an image. So you don't have to actually worry about the name tagging here. It's basically saying to the model itself when we are training what this image actually have, right? So this is like a manual process, and I will show you how to do that. It's like a really easy process. So since we are going with the classification, I will stick with the single tag image. And yeah, next up we have domains. In here also we have different kind of options, right? So maybe let's assume we are going to do a image classification for foods. So in those cases, we can go with this option. But since we are going with the cars, actually, I'm going to stick with the general. Other than that, if you have like a retail or landmark, or any kind of like a specific domain that we are dealing with, you can go with those things. Right. So next up, general, and then we can create the project. Right. Actually, this is the place where we're going to create the model and for the project that we have created. So first of all, almost like I said, when we are going to train a model, we need to have some inputs, right? So we can provide some kind of like images and train the model saying that these images contain this kind of data, right? So since we are going to train the model about the brands, three brands of the cars, I have already downloaded the data set. Let me show you where I lost it. Yeah, it's like a platform actually where you can easily download any kind of like a data set you want for your machine learning project. So we'll go with the car images. Yeah, this is the actually the data set that I used. As you can see, it contain many different brands, uh, but I'm only using three of it. You can just go ahead and download. Only thing you need to have is like account. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. Just maybe you can join with Microsoft or Google or any kind of like a account you have, right? So I have already downloaded it. Yeah, this is the data set. So yeah, I'm dealing with Audi, Rolls-Royce, and Swift only. So if we go to the Audi folder, yeah, we can see 199 images about the Audi cars, and then 74 images from Rolls-Royce, and then yeah, 102 images from Suzuki Swift. I mean, you don't have to use this much of image if you're like a beginner and if you are just trying to learn these things. I mean, you can just do it with maybe 20 images as well. But more you provide the images, uh, more your result will get like more accurate result you will get. So, right now let's see how to add images and train the model. We can simply press add images, and I'm going to add the Audi cars first. Right, so I can open it. Right, so this is where actually the tag comes or the labeling part comes from, right? So it says I have already added 100 and 199 images, and since I specifically know all of these 199 images contain Audi cars, I can say this is Audi. So once we upload image and use this for any kind of like a prediction part, it will consider all of these cars as Audis. So I can upload it. Uh, yeah, the uploading actually will be depend on the internet connection, the quality of the images, and the number of images you are having. Right. So yeah, it is successfully uploaded. And since I have two more vehicle brands, I can go to add images again and go with the next one. Again, the same process actually. I can say this is Rolls. I guess the spellings is correct. Rolls Royce. Anyways, Rolls. Right. Then we can upload it. I mean, it's really easy. I mean, if we are going to do this using by typing the code, this will like a time consuming and a complex process. I will do the same process for the Swift as well. Swift. The spellings, right. Yeah, again, this is all you have to do in order to upload and train the model. I mean, we haven't trained the model yet, but this all you have to do. In this case, I mean, I have only added three different categories: Audi, Rolls-Royce, and Swift. Based on your problem, based on your application that you are going to create, you may be add any number of like images based on the different categories, right? This is just example of it. Right. So the image uploaded part is done actually. Now we have to do is to train the model, right? So like I said, for the training part also, we just need to click this button, right? Like it will ask for a quick training or maybe like advanced training. I will go with the quick training and I will tell you why we are not going with the advanced training, because this training part actually will take some time based on the how many like categories or maybe how many images that have uploaded. So if you go with the advanced training, actually we can decide the time constraint or maybe the time that we have to use for this iteration or maybe the training part, right? So if we can give it like more time, our predictions or our result will be more accurate. So for this demonstration, I'm not going to do it because we don't have much time. Right. So yeah, this will take some time. So meanwhile, let me show you the already trained model. Sure. Estimation. Our the test is still training. Yes. Yeah. This is like the demo the model that I have created, right? So I have used the same images and the same categories, uh, but only the difference is this is already trained. And once you trained, actually, you can go for a quick testing. Yeah, you can just press this button, and yeah, you can provide a URL or maybe provide a or maybe choose some images from the local directories. Uh, Let me click this image. Right. So this is the actual the result. It says the probability of this image containing a Rolls Royce is 99.7. So these the results are coming from actually based on the images that we have provided. So this probability again can be changed due to some reasons like the threshold values, maybe the quality of the images that we are providing, maybe the number of images that we are providing. So this probability can be changed based on those things. But so let me choose another example for we have used Audi. Maybe S6, 5. Yeah, yeah. Let's try with this car as well. Image link. Yeah, like I said, this one says there's a 91.4% of we are having a Audi car in this provide image. The same thing can be applied for the city as well, I guess. It's it. Uh, is this the car? Maybe I guess all of are same. Yeah. Right, I will go with this one. Copy image. Yeah. Yeah, it says like a more probability. Like it's 99.9%. It says this image containing a Suzuki Swift car, right? So that's like a quick test. Uh, Still, yeah, it's still training. So yeah, once you have trained the images, you can go for the performance. So in here, this whole like the performance part actually involving with the model evaluation part that we have mentioned. In here, we have several kind of like data that they provide, or maybe matrices. We have a small table containing the each category and number of images we have. And we have some matrices about precision, recall, and AP. AP in sense like the average patient. So it says this number will tell you if a tag is predicted by your model, how likely is that to be right. So if there's any uh, prediction based on our model, it says what will be the accuracy of it. And in the recall, I mean, it's something also similar, but there's a slight difference. This says this number will tell you out of the tags which should be predicted correctly, what percentage did your model corrected. Fine. So they are providing this kind of like a matrices as well, so we can get the understanding about the accuracy of our model as well. I mean, there can be some cases we have like a 100% precision. Uh, so again, like when you have like 100% precision, maybe we can think like, yeah, we are having the best model that we can create because it says the 100% precision. But at the same time, there can be some errors as well because when we are creating a model, uh, it can't be 100% every single time because I mean, if it's 100%, the all of the images that we are providing has to be really clear, and there should be like a disturbing background because, as I mentioned, although we are just dealing with these interfaces or maybe user interfaces, the behind the scene, the back end is something complicated because these are machine learning algorithms that we are using. So like all of the augmentation, the separations, the noise reductions, all of these things should be happening behind. So based on those things, the precision should be reduced or maybe changed. So in that case, the 100%, the precision we won't be able to see the 100% precision every single time. Uh, right. So it is still training. Right. Meanwhile, it's training. Let me show you. I mean, now we have once we have trained, once we have passed this process, we can go for something called publish, which is somewhat like the deployment process of this model. Not exactly the deployment process, but once you publish it, we can use this model to predict any kind of like a uh, images or maybe some provided links based on this model we have created. So that's where the place that we can publish or deploy this. I mean, it says unpublished because I have already published this. So, I mean, all you have to do is just it will show you a button called publish rather than the unpublished. Just click it and it will publish the model. The next thing is once we publish the our model, how can we use this? I mean, this is where the actually the most people are like getting problem with. I mean, yeah, we can of course someone can say, I mean, yeah, of course we can deal with some of these user interfaces. So this is where the hard part, right? So you can just click the prediction URL and it will provide you some APIs in order to tackle with these images. So there are two ways, as I mentioned. First one is using the image URL, and then we can choose images maybe from the any kind of like a drive or maybe from the local directories. So I'm gonna skip with the image URL, right? So just to demonstrate this one, let me go with the Postman. Right. So first of all, we need to copy this URL. So this URL actually will be specific for your model that you have created, right? So I mean, you can't use this and the prediction keys. I mean, these are unique. You have to create your own in order to use these things. Right. So let me create an PI call. Just paste the URL here, and it will be a post method. And other than that, we need to have two headers for the prediction key and the content type. So these things will be unique. The prediction key will be unique for you. I will copy it and we'll put it in the header section. Right. Next up, another thing is, yeah, we have to set the body for the specific image URL. So for that, we can go to the yeah body. Right. Let me copy the image as well. Um, right. Now we can think we set the headers, body, and link post. Send it. Right. So as you can see, we are getting a response from the service that we have created and published. Yeah, it says there's a 0.993937 probability of having a Swift car in the provided image, and again providing some probability for the Rolls-Royce car and Audi as well. Yeah, I mean, once you have this kind of a position, right, where we can use this API and get this kind of like a output. All we have to do is in order to integrate this service into a web application, all we need to do is find any kind of like a language that we are going to use, right? So in this case, I'm using the React library, and I'm not worrying about the interfaces actually, the or the stylings. Just using, right? You can just come here and call the API and get your work done. I'm using Axios, right? All you have to do, let me check whether our no, is still going, right? So meanwhile, like I said, I'm not going to go through the interfaces and how to create this React app and all of those things. All I need to show you how to call this API and with the work done with the use of like, I mean, in fact, you don't have to use Axios as well. I mean, there are so many uh, optional ways as well, right? So I'm using Axios, and only thing I have to do is I have to provide the link, and I have to define those headers. That's all. So that's how actually I have created this the image direction demo app. So we can provide the URL here, and we can get the data or the output with the probabilities. So this is, as I mentioned, this is not the only way actually. You have that thing called uploading image as well. So go through that as well. And the other thing I want to mention is, I mean, we talk about the image classification part and how to uh, create a model with the use of Azure, the custom vision for the image classification. But the other thing also we have a way we can do that, which is the object detection, where where we can detect different kind of objects inside a given image. You can also do that. So try it also. I mean, these are not like hard things or very complicated things like rocket science. Just go there and all of the they are providing all of the documentations for the, yeah, all you have to do is just go through these things and they will provide the necessary information. Right. So next thing, I need to mention that, right. So let's assume now you have that ability to create this kind of a model by providing the data sets and training it and integrate to this to a web application or maybe a mobile application or whatever the application is. Uh, let's say you, as I mentioned, let's say you are like involving in any kind of like a university or institute, right? So in that case, maybe if you have to build a inventory system, or maybe yeah, let's get the example of inventory system. So in that case also, I mean, rather than the traditional way of doing it with the CRUD operations, you can use this kind of system. I mean, it's really easy to use because only thing we need to know about the Azure and how to call an API endpoint. The rest of the algorithmic part and the hard, the complicated part will be taken care of by the service provider. Right? You can use that kind of approach. I mean, other than that, other than the image classification and the object detection that we have discussed, we have several other things like segmentations, object tracking, video analysis, and also we have something called the facial recognition, the face recognition. So this part also, I mean, you can use for your day-to-day life projects, like, I mean, the basic security thing when when you are using an application, which is the authentication and authorization part, right? So the traditional way is just creating a login form, providing the username, maybe password, and then doing the authentication part behind the scene, right? So thinking out of the box, you can use this kind of approach. I mean, these are also pretty much same with the thing that we have discussed today. You can use the facial recognition API and the system in order to create a login app, face recognition login as well, right? So I'm assuming that I can show you the result after the training of it. The time is also, anyways, let me share the certificate link. Um, uh, yeah, we have some questions as well. Is there any limit for the request we can call per day? Yeah, based on the subscription and the tier actually you're using, it will give you a limit, as I can show you. Agent here. Yeah, you can get like all of the details, but from the and also you guess we can get these details from the okay, the screen of the chat, right? Right. Yeah, all I did was just searched Azure Custom Vision pricing, right? So that you can see all of the related data according to the tier you are using. The next question, can I know the difference between TensorFlow and this technique? Right. The thing is, I'm not you usually familiar with the TensorFlow, but I think we can use this service and integrate in those kind of like a approach as well. So since I'm not like familiar with the TensorFlow, actually I can't give a proper answer for that. Then can I know the other websites? Fine. Yeah. Kaggle. This one is it's like the most famous one. Yeah, which I am familiar with actually. I mean, since we don't have like pay anything or just to we need to just to create an account. I think this is what I'm suggesting you. But I think other than that, I don't remember the name, but some of them actually we need to pay in order to get those data sets. So if you are using this technology for undergraduate research project, is it possible to do such to do? Yeah, no problem. I mean, maybe when you are doing your research project and maybe you have those project proposals and progress presentations, in those cases, maybe you have to define those technologies. I mean, exact technologies that you are using. I mean, in that case, you need to mention that we are going to use this kind of approach using cloud computing, and you can mention the advantages it as well. Like these are like highly available platforms and likewise. But at the same time, if you are talking about like more specific data that we have to train, right? For an example, let's say you are going to create an system or project to detect the color difference or using the concept like augmentation and noise reduction and all of those stuff. So maybe you will have to do those things on your own in order to find like the color differences based on maybe uh, some kind of like edge detection scenarios. So in those cases, you won't be able to do such kind of like a complex part using this one. But other than that, you can do those things by using this approach. I think I explained the answer. You can use for the research, but probably you will have to discuss with the supervisor and co-supervisor about the your problem as well as the technology that you are using. Right. Sure. You're welcome. Right. Guys, with that being said, we have come to the end of today's session. Uh, so please fill out the form that I have put it in the chat so that I can collect the details for your certificates. Right. So yeah, since we don't have any questions, actually, I'm going to wind up the session. So thank you very much for joining. And I think this will be give some knowledge for you for your like your research projects, maybe your undergraduate projects and assignments, right? So thank you again. Thank you very much for joining and stay in touch with the Microsoft Learn Institute ambassadors and MS Club of SLIIT. We are doing this kind of like email events throughout the whole year. And we are going to do some events in the upcoming month as well. So stay in touch. Please do follow us on social media. Then you will be get notified whenever we are going to create or conduct this kind of event. Right. Please upload the recording. Yeah, we will upload the recording and we will give you the necessary links and information. Uh, right. So again, guys, thank you very much.